Hi everybody, it's Lawrence here. Welcome back to Giant Talk, the world's first and only dedicated OKR podcast. This week I am delighted to be joined by Levi from Computer Futures and Mel Vessels, who we heard from a couple of weeks ago from Booking.com. Welcome guys.
Hi.
Hi, nice to be here again.
Good to have you. So a really special episode that we're doing today, which is all about the OKR Forum that's coming up in Amsterdam in a few weeks. And Levi and Mel are both responsible for putting it together, really. They're the head honchos behind it. So we wanted to get these guys together just to talk a little bit about it. So if we start with you, Levi, why is it that Computer Futures are putting the conference on for everybody this year?
Yeah, that's a good question, Lawrence. So Computer Futures is IT staffing partner globally, basically. We have had some years of experience, more than 30 by now. And let's say what we're historically good in is like facilitating skills within IT.
Right.
But as you know, the world is progressing with a lot of information. We see a lot of trends, information passing by, and it's something we want to play also a role in, like facilitating knowledge, basically. So we want to, next to our main business model, facilitating people in IT skills to the right jobs, we want to play a role in also, creating awareness, spreading information, trends, novelties. And OKR is something we organized last year,
right,
by my former colleague Alan. It was something very interesting, successful. First of all, that we can spread the word in Holland, in Amsterdam. Also, we learned a lot about it internally for our internal way of working. And we decided to organize a second edition. As you know, first edition is all like new, thrilling, and we want to see how we can improve basically the quality and the experience of the second edition. So that's why.
Fantastic. But I mean, it's got to be said that last year's was a resounding success. I know myself and Roger were there representing Derby Giants, and we had a real international audience, it seemed. It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit more successful than we thought. You know, it was basically, it came out of the blue, and nothing had been organized like that so far, even in Europe, on this scale. But we're very happy that it went like that, and we're thrilled to confirm that, and even to enhance a bit the experience what our audience will have over there. So we're working hard on that.
Fantastic. I mean, it's amazing, really, that you guys managed to pull such a crowd for what is really quite an incredibly niche subject matter, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is a sign that OKR is, winning a bit of popularity. It's something.
Absolutely.
In USA, is already more established, but we see like an appetite in Europe also to create more awareness, to have more consciousness about the topic. So, yeah.
Yeah. So on the topic, Mel, I know you are a massive OKR evangelist and have been for some years now. Why is that? What's so great about OKRs?
I think OKRs are great because they really change the standard kind of New Year's resolutions approach that a lot of people have towards goal setting.
Right.
They just create like a vague goal and there's no measurable result. And as a consequence, people don't reach their goals and they're not really motivated. So when I first learned about OKRs, I first thought, this is just another framework, and I'm going to be bored with that in about 2 weeks.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think the person who I learned OKRs from, which is Ben Lamort, right? He taught me first about OKRs and how to use them in my personal life, as I've also discussed in the other podcast. And this is the reason how I saw that it could have such a big impact. And I think if you want to introduce it in today's world, in smaller or bigger companies, I think everyone needs a little bit less distraction. People need more focus in their work. And I think then OKRs are such a great tool to prioritize and also to make sure that people in the company are aligned, because the OKRs are public, everyone can see them. And I think, maybe the most awesome reason why OKRs are great is because as an individual team member, you can see how you impact the business vision. You can see how your work on a daily basis inspires what the company wants to do. So that is, I think, that the most important thing. And engagement is such a hot topic these days. I think any company who's struggling with engagement issues should implement OKRs.
I completely agree. I mean, the amount of problems that OKRs provide a solution for is quite astronomical, really, because alignment, strategy, motivation, engagement, purpose of staff, all can be solved through this framework. It's amazing the difference it can make for a scale up company.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think for people who are a bit hesitant, like, this is not a framework, should I try it? Yes, try it. And remember that it takes a couple of cycles, right, to really get good at it.
At least.
Try it out, please, because the benefit is so huge that it's going to get your company to the next level.
100%. Yeah, completely agree. So I guess the issue that a lot of organizations have, but also really is the magic behind OKRs, is there's no one set way of doing it, right? And I think this is why it's so important to hear from the likes of the speakers that we get on this podcast, the types of speakers that are going to be at the conference, because it can be a bit of a daunting prospect for anybody in an organization who's got to implement these OKRs when there's all these fantastic books about the theory and methodology, but not really any literature on the actual practical implementation side. Do you think that'd be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I think, to be honest, most of the books on OKRs give me a headache because there's so much theory in them. It doesn't mean they're not good, but they're just not super practical. And you will run into things on the work floor that are not described in these books.
I completely agree.
Yeah. And also, of course, the danger of reading just one book is that becomes your view. And I think an OKR forum or an OKR conference, like the one that Levi is organizing together with me, is great because you'll just hear so many different views. You hear different strategies, different ways of implementation. And as a result, you can just have a think about that afterwards and decide, okay, I'll take this and I'll take that, but I won't take this stuff. So you can be picky. You can
pick and mix.
Yeah, because every company has their own flavor, just like every company will have their own flavor of maybe using Agile or Scrum.
100%.
So yeah, I would say go in with an open mind and pick and choose what you like and try it out.
Completely, absolutely. I mean, that leads us on nicely to Levi. Mel, if you can tell us who's actually going to be speaking at the conference.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of people. I think Levi's done an amazing job at approaching speakers and doing research on who can come. We have some amazing people lined up. I think one of my favorites is Felipe Castro because he's one of the OKR gurus from way back that I've always been inspired by. He's going to talk about how to avoid bad OKR advice, which I think is such an interesting topic because these days there's so many people claiming they're experts.
Yeah, I must admit, I had a disagreement with somebody on LinkedIn the other day who had put together a list of 100 OKR examples. I would say 99 of which were pretty crap OKR examples.
Yeah. Yeah, and I read blogs and I see a blog about the best key results, and all the key results are actually not results. So I think it's going to be a really interesting session, and Philippe has a really nice, almost simplistic way of explaining things, which I really like. So
fantastic.
He's going to be there. There's going to be, of course, Roger Longden, right? He's going to talk about building a culture in which OKRs can thrive.
Our head giant himself,
Yeah, the head giant himself. There's going to be, Per Lenquist, for example, about how to start an OKR dialogue. We have Dan Montgomery coming as well, which is quite exciting. He's going to speak about how to instill an OKR mindset in people.
Ah, brilliant.
Then we also have, for example, Alvaro Silva, who's doing a lot in the Netherlands with OKRs, about how to make OKRs purposeful and how to also link them to doing good for the planet, so kind of sustainable OKRs. In a way.
Very cool. Yeah.
And maybe it's good to mention that the way Levi and I have kind of set up the conference is that the morning will be very much like inspirational sessions. It's really to get you excited. And then the afternoon will be more about how do you actually implement this and making it very practical. Because I think most conferences get really stuck in a kind of inspiration mode, which is really fun, but then you walk away and you don't really know what to do.
Yes.
So we wanted to avoid that. And also we have breakout sessions. So it won't just be talks, but you can actually also get your hands dirty and start working yourself on some stuff. We have, for example, Thomas Bieniasz from Poland coming.
Okay.
He's going to talk in a workshop about how to create behavioral change around OKRs. We have Barton Haak, who's going to talk about OKR check-ins in the workshop as well. I'm going to do a workshop on kind of the basics of OKRs or OKRs for beginners, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we have maybe one more person that I'd like to mention. I'm getting excited here is Hendrik Jan van der Pol. He's also coming. He's kind of a big OKR guy in Europe, and he's going to talk about, theory versus reality with OKRs, right? So what we already talked a bit about with the books. And so, yeah, very exciting schedule, I think.
Fantastic. I mean, I am super excited, I've got to say. Last year's was so inspirational, especially for myself, who I think when I came to the conference last year, I was in my infancy of OKR wisdom. And it was almost like being hit in the face by a hurricane of OKR knowledge, really. And it's just such an inspirational day. Yeah. Levi, the practicality, how can people go about getting tickets and coming along to the event?
They can visit the Computer Futures website. There is a tab with the whole schedule of the OKR Forum, and also via Eventbrite we're live. So via those two links, you will be able to buy your tickets. And also, if you want to be kept in the loop about speakers, about information, you can follow Computer Futures on LinkedIn. And both Melanie and me, of course.
Of course. Fantastic. I think that's just a brilliant synopsis of the day. And just remind us of the date and time.
The 3rd of October, which is a Thursday. Doors will be open at 8, so people can relax a bit, eat and drink a bit. And then 8:45 we will kick off on stage.
Brilliant. And it's at the World Trade Center in Amsterdam, right?
It is, yeah. It's fairly reachable via public transport.
Yeah, 100%. Fantastic. Mel, Levi, thank you both so much for joining me this morning. Congratulations on putting together what I'm sure is going to be an amazing event. And I'm sure some of our listeners will definitely be coming along to that. We do have a big following out in Europe. So I'm sure we've sparked a lot of inspiration there. To the listeners, thank you again for joining us. Hopefully we'll meet you at the OKR Forum in Amsterdam. Do come and give us a shout. Me and Roger are the two really tall people, although in Amsterdam we do fit into the crowd a little bit more. And thanks again for listening to Giant Talk, the world's first OKR podcast. Cheers. Bye.